Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and today we're playing Sword and Sorcery, and we're in part 5 of our playthrough and showcase of this particular prologue scenario. And in the last video, we actually had the Necromancer Onomar go into the spirit form, or ghost soul form, I guess it's called in this one. And so we're going to have to deal with that going into this coming round. We are starting a brand new round. At the very top of the game sequence, we are in the time phase. So there's a couple things I want to note before we run into it. First thing is we double checked on the powers. When your hero is at a soul rank of 1, it cannot lose a soul rank, and it's only when you lose a soul rank do you actually lose a corresponding power. Because we're at power 1, or sorry, I should say soul rank 1, we never lose a card. So these cards are still in play and still valid for Onomar. The only downside is, as of right now, he can't use these. He can only use what's on his Ghost Soul form card. He can do a Soul Shout, he can do a Recall, and he can do a Move 5. And he can do all three, only one of each, but he can do them in any order he wants, but only one. So we're going to have to strategically choose how he uses those. And the first thing I'm going to do is hold off on using him first, because we're going to end up having to get him from the location he's currently in all the way back to the shrine. And it costs him 1 gem. It will cost him 1 soul gem that the group has acquired thus far, because he's at soul rank 1, in order to resurrect him and bring him back to life. Now we're going to be able to do that because we can use the ability Recall to get him all the way back to that shrine. But before we do that, let's go ahead and try to chip away at some of the enemies before he leaves that space. He also has a really powerful Soul Shout attack where he can roll 3, and that is going to be useful, but I'd rather use it on a blue character because they're stronger, especially this guy here who is going to heal. And sadly, right now, we are in the time phase, and in the time phase, we have to check for things like effects cleanup, which we have none, powers refresh, powers cooldown, soul enhancements, and resurrections. Resurrections can't happen right now because our hero who is in ghost form is not in a shrine location, but if he was, I could resurrect him for 1. So we're going to have to wait till the next round in order to resurrect him. But this triggers right here. In each time phase, you're going to be healing 2 HP to self. So this particular gremlin is going to heal himself for 2, and he's going to be doing this every single time. So it's going to shift our priorities as to who we should be attacking. We have 1 green gremlin who's got 2 hits and only needs 1 more hit to be killed off. So he's likely our first target in order to ensure they no longer have control of this current situation. Because right now there's 2 heroes and 3 gremlins. So they are controlling the area, and it'd be good to just knock off this green gremlin. So I'm going to choose someone who's got an advantage in their attack. And we're going to start with Skeld. And the reason I'm starting with him is because he has a frenzy ability that says if enemies control or dominate your area, your attacks inflict an extra blue die for the level 1 soul rank. So I'm going to go ahead. It's going to give me 1 blue dice. I'm using my / exotic weapon, and I'm going to be going after this green gremlin right here. The good thing about the green gremlin, if we take a look at the enemy scrolls, there's no armor whatsoever to worry about. So we're just going in there slashing, hoping for the best. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a combat action here. Now, what I'm going to do before I do that to ensure that I don't screw up is I'm going to actually use my 1 action, because I have 1 action to the right there, to focus. I've never done this before, but this focus allows me to get an automatic hit on my attack, which is essentially going to negate the hit from the knight that we lose. Now, we don't want to forget about the fact that there is a Carnage card in play that says until the next event phase, the first attack of each hero and enemy inflicts critical. So we're going to have to pull a critical token from a bag and apply its effects before we continue on. So that's pretty crazy. So let's go ahead and do this kind of in order and see how this pans out. So first off, we'll gather our dice together. So we're going to go ahead and take the blue die. We're going to be taking a red and a blue because we're using our sword. So that's going to give him a pool of these dice right here. We'll put them in the dice tray. The next thing we're going to do, and of course we're looking for 1 hit. We focused with our extra action, or our action I should say, so that's given us 1 hit automatically. And it says the first attack of each hero and enemy inflicts critical, so that means once we roll these dice, we're going to be pulling from the bag to see what type of critical hit applies to the defender. So here we go, we're going to do our attack here. And we're rolling away. We've got ourselves, this one was a shield, so shield, 1 hit, 2 hits, a bolt, and a star. Can we use either of those? We can use the bolt to inflict critical, but we're already doing that. the star is useless to us, but we did get 2 hits. So 2 hits here, plus the 1 hit that we gathered from, where do we get that 1 hit from again? We got that 1 hit from focusing, so that's 3 total hits, but we lose 1 for the night phase. But before we do that, before we talk about taking 1 away for the night phase, we have to go to our critical bag because of the Carnage card here and determine what critical element is going to be hitting against this green gremlin. So we got -1 heart, and that's a red one. So that actually, in essence, it says a red one represents a permanent body condition. The effect is applied, placing the critical token on the defender's card, and it remains there until the end of the quest, until removed as a body condition, or until the target dies. In the last 2 cases, once discarded, place the token into the relative discard pile. So basically, this automatically kills him because this body condition lowers his health by 1, and he's already got 2 hits on him, so he's going to be dead before we even go ahead and apply any of our damage. So the critical was enough to do it thanks to the Carnage card that came from our event deck. So this green goblin is now dead. What's really cool about this is we gain a soul shard, so that's even cooler. So we're going to go ahead and grab another soul shard, which goes into the collective pool for the group. So now we're up to 2, which is good. So this guy is going to be gone. We can toss him over to the side for a second. We're going to nothing else happens in terms of the only thing that we get is just what's in the bottom right corner. So just that soul gem, that's taken care of. We now can remove his character from the board because he's been killed. Well done, Skeld. He's done his job, and now it's more of an even battle at this point. So that's good. We're starting off at a good pace. So the next thing we're going to do here is essentially, I have to think about things because we've done our combat action. We've done our 1 action that we have. So at this point, or I should say, yeah, we've done our combat action. We've done 1 action activity. So now at this point, we don't have anything left to do. So we're going to have to call it quits with him. So we're going to have to flip over his bookmark. He's essentially done. And with that, now comes the interesting spot of, and I'm just going to remove these dice from the tray so we don't get them confused with anything else, but we have to go ahead now and initiate the enemy phase. And the enemy turn is going to actually activate because we do have 2 enemies in play, so that's going to cost us, or make us pull an encounter card. What do we get here? We got Troop Assault. Activate all green enemies, otherwise all enemies attack their closest hero in line of sight with their, I guess those 2 X's will determine what they attack with, and I think it's stones for the gremlins. So that's really bad because we killed off the green enemies, it's actually going to be all the other enemies available, which is both of these blue gremlins now are going to attack me, which I think I just made that harder on myself. So that's not good. So we're going to go ahead and grab the blue gremlin scroll here. So we have that with us, and we're going to have to deal with this attack. Not good. Okay, so the first thing they're going to be doing is we'll be doing 1 at a time. Their first focus is going to be on the one with the most wounds on him. So that's going to be Skeld because he's the only one who actually has wounds inflicted on him and he's still alive. So we are going after him still. So that, again, we got 2 of them right there. So one's going to attack and then the other's going to attack. They're also both going to inflict critical on him. So that's going to probably end up being nasty. So as of right now, they have no advantage. It's a complete tie. There's no bonuses for, no supremacy bonus for controlling or dominating the area because it's completely even. So this gremlin's going to go ahead and attack with claws based on the AI card up top. And it says if claws attack deals damage, discard a random coin. Well, Skeld doesn't have any coins, so we can skip that. Banding, if enemies control the area, you get +1 hits. They do not. And if this enemy suffers damage, that doesn't apply, and activate this enemy doesn't apply. So that little 2 sword symbol right there on the bottom is what was talked about right here at the bottom of the encounter card. And so they're going to be using this attack against me, which is going to inflict 2 hits automatically without even rolling dice. So that's pretty nasty. So I have 2 hits coming at me, and I don't even get any chance to do anything except just roll for defense. Now the good thing with Skeld is he's the right person to be defending this stuff, because he does have a shield which gives him a +1 automatically. The downside with this is I have to pull a critical token from the bag because it says so. So we're going to go ahead and pull a critical token from the bag to see what happens. So this is going to be applied before any of the dice rolling stuff occurs. So I'm going to go ahead and find out what happens. This is going to be bad, probably. Hopefully not. Actually, I think they're all bad. Okay, so that's knocked over is I believe what happens when you get KO'd. So if I take a quick look here, the heroes, oh no. So basically what's going to happen is the critical now is applied, so he's knocked over on his side. And at this point, because of that critical occurring to him, he is, his defense, all of his defense armor is now ignored, which is terrible news. He counts for 0 when controlling an area or dominating an area. He remains KO'd until a dash or 1 movement point is spent and cannot perform combat activities. Good thing I've already gone with him, so that was good on me for taking him out, or using him first, I should say. So this is really bad because now I can't, can I even defend at all? I think I can still defend. It just says that my defense value is ignored, but I still think I get to roll defense. So I'm going to be rolling defense right now. I'm going to be doing that. Now, when you get a blue one, blue is kind of a temporary body condition. The effect's applied, and it's placing the matching body condition token on the defender's card and discarding the critical token into the relative discard pile. Now, I don't have the actual token out, so I'm just going to leave this here for now, kind of as a marker. So hopefully you guys are okay with that, but typically you pull out the KO token, I guess, and use it, but this works just as fine. So that didn't really pan out as well as I had hoped. So let me just double check here really quick about the... Yeah, so what will end up happening here is we're in the defensive stage. We're checking for resistance and weaknesses. We've already done that. He doesn't have anything that's going to apply. Armor value is reduced because he's KO'd, so that sucks. Magic shields can be spent. No, that doesn't matter. And then I can go ahead and roll a blue die still. So the good thing is I can still roll blue dice to try to block this, but now I don't get that advantage of the +1. So I'm going to go ahead and be rolling the 3 blue, but I'm only getting hit for 2 because of the stones. So at this point now, it's going to be an interesting situation because I'm going to be rolling 2 to try to block the 2 stones that are coming at me. And I got both. So I ended up magically blocking both somehow, even though he's knocked over. The really bad thing about this, though, is that he's going to be attacked again because there is a second gremlin who's blue in that space still. So there's going to be a second attack against him. And he's still KO'd, which is not good. So this second attack again is going to be with stones. It's going to inflict 2, and I'm going to again have to roll 2 dice in order to stop this. Now, I'm just noticing something now that I'm going to have to double check on, and that is the fact that technically the critical KO'd him, and he's not supposed to count for controlling the room, or in order to control, or for, whatever the word I'm looking for, domination. But right now, technically it's 2 to 1, because there's only 1 hero standing and 2 gremlins, so technically they would get an extra hit. So if I'm not mistaken, I believe 1 hit still goes through. So I'm going to go ahead and tick this up for that last attack because I think 1 still goes through, because when you are KO'd, it does say, based on this reference sheet right here for the heroes, that the remaining, it says count 0 for controlling and dominating areas. And because the critical is applied right away, as you can see right here, it says critical. If the attacker obtains at least 1 hit, the critical is applied before the defender can block it by rolling dice. So it really does happen before any defense happens. So that's pretty nasty. That's really nasty. Now, the only good thing about this happening is now when the second blue gremlin is about to attack him, Skeld actually has a rage thing. It says if you are wounded for at least half your HP, your attacks inflict 1 hit. So that's not going to help him right now, but later when he attacks, if he's still alive, it'll help him. So right now I'm rolling 2 dice. I do know that they already have supremacy in that area because I'm KO'd. So they already did 1 hit on me. And I was only able to block 1 of the hits. So that means 2 hits are coming through at me. And I didn't roll, or I didn't get a bolt to re-roll 1 defense die, sadly. So that's going to tick me up 2. So that puts me 1 away from death. Wow, that is insane. Okay, so that's crazy difficult. So that's the end, finally, of Skeld's turn. That seemed like it took forever. So that's good. We can take the Troop Assault card and toss it for now. And we're going to take this scroll, move it out of the way. And We're going to move on to the next hero. Now we really need to do some damage here, and we need to do it fast. So I'm going to use my Ghost, I'm going to be using my Ghost Soul Form Onamor character first. He's going to go and he can only do things that are on this card. So he's going to do his Soul Shout first by rolling 3 dice and stuff like that in order to do an attack. He's got to pick one of the blue gremlins. The one that makes the most sense to attack is not this one because it can regenerate health, but this one, because this one we can get hits against and it'll stay on him if we don't end up doing it. So we have to roll 3 dice and we have to actually get a hit before the critical can apply. But it does say here on this Carnage card, until the next event phase, the first attack of each hero and enemy inflicts critical regardless. So I'm going to roll. It doesn't matter whether I get damage or not, it just inflicts critical. I ended up getting SS, a hit and a star, and 2 bolts. What does that give me? Not exactly what I wanted, but if you noticed at the bottom there, it says, in the next time phase, resurrect in your area without spending soul points. So what I just did by doing that Soul Shout is I gained the ability to actually resurrect Onamor in the time phase when he eventually runs over here to the shrine without spending one of my soul gems, which is actually awesome because that's going to make life a lot easier for me because I don't have to spend soul gems on a resurrection. That's really, really, really good. But regardless, what he ended up actually getting here was 1 hit. So he did do 1 hit, and we know regardless of doing 1 hit, the critical is going to happen. So we're going to go ahead and pull a critical to see what we do to this blue gremlin. I'm hoping it's damage. Oh, we got a -1 on the armor. Now that's good news, and the reason that's good news is because if you take a look at this particular card right here. Oh, actually, no, the gremlin doesn't have any armor anyway. Shoot, it only takes armor away from me. Well, we already knew that from the last attacks. So I guess it doesn't do anything by taking the armor away. This is a red condition, so this stays on him forever, essentially, until he's dead. But again, I'm just using the critical token as a reminder. I think there actually is, and there is, tokens to use that are official ones to use instead of the critical marker. So just remember that. Just for the sake of the playthrough, I don't want to be jumbling tokens around like a fool, so I'm just leaving it there for easy reminder. That doesn't really apply, though, too much, but what does apply is the 1 hit. Now, the only downside of this whole situation is that 1 hit, even though we got the critical, doesn't do anything, because at the end of the day, the night phase sucks it up regardless. So we didn't end up getting a hit on him, even if we wanted to get a hit on him. So that attack was a complete wash. So now what we're going to do is do the recall ability, which allows me to take him and shoot him all the way back to the nearest shrine. So he's ready in the next time phase to now for free, because he rolled the SS based on that ability that's sitting here in the bottom of his card here. Says he can resurrect in the time phase for no soul points, which is going to be a huge advantage for me. And we're going to need some help, and right now things are not looking so good over there. So that's going to really be the end of his turn. There's nothing else he can do. Because he's in soul form, he can only do what's on here, so his turn is done. So we flip this over, and now we have to resolve an encounter card because there's still enemies on the board. So the encounter card says, close combat. Activate all engaged enemies. Otherwise, all enemies move up 2 areas. Okay, regardless, that's going to be 2 blue enemies coming at me again. So you can see these guys are quite relentless when they get into packs. It can get really dangerous. Okay, so as of right now, again, the focus is going to be back on Skeld because he is the individual with the most wounds, and regardless of the fact he's KO'd, they still want to kill him. So they are going to attack with claws, which is nasty. And again, now what's going to happen is that this is the no longer the first attack of these gremlins. So this critical thing goes away. They don't get criticals anymore. But going forward, you know, it could be bad because he's only got 1 health left, and that's really not good. So let's make sure we don't mess up here on any of the rules. So attack with claws. We know they're actually going to be attacking with claws this time. Banding wise, it says if the enemies control its area, claws attack inflicts 1 hit. Well, guys, technically they are controlling the area, so as of right now, that is going to inflict 1 extra hit on me, which is not good going in. So they get 1 hit to start. They also, because they're blue gremlins, they take away one of my armor from me. So that's going to reduce my armor to 0, which is terrible. So now they're 1 up on me for a hit. They've already reduced my armor down. And Oh, this is bad. Okay, this is really, really bad. Okay, so, and they're gonna go ahead and roll 2 red dice just to put more punishment on me. So here we go, and that's 1 hit and 1 miss. So that's 2 hits coming across to me. Now I am not allowed to use my shield to defend because of the armor, but I do have the ability to roll 2 blue dice to try to block the hits coming at me, and I need to, otherwise I am in big trouble. And I failed completely. So, and I didn't even get a bolt to re-roll 1 defense die. So because of the rolls that I just got here, 2 hits and 2 stars when I needed a defense, we've actually lost another character. So another character has gone down. Things are not looking good. So all effects that are on him go away. And he again is flipped over to his soul side. He's dead, or his turn is over anyway. But essentially his character's pulled off the game board. And now there is another spirit character here in this location. So things have gotten really, really bad, really quick, to say the least. So that's really not good. And then that's pretty much it. Now the next thing is that was 1 gremlin attack. The next one now is going to activate. But now their focus is going to be on Samira, because she's the only one left in there. They're absolutely 100% still controlling the area, so they have 1+ on me, and they're rolling 2 dice for their claws. They take away 1 armor if I happen to have it, which I do, so they're removing my chainmail bonus from me, which is just punishment. And there's 1 hit, so they get 1 hit on me. So I'm going to try to defend this with 1 blue die based on the up to 3 that I can roll. And she fails. So, oh man, I'm not doing good. So that's it. That's the end of their turn. So we can chuck this encounter card to the side. And we'll move this out of the way. And then we're going to be going into Samira's turn next. All right, guys. I think this is a perfect time to stop because this is a ton of stuff has happened. This is quite a bit of activity. And to be totally honest, things are not looking good because one of the fail conditions, if you remember, is if we do not get... if all of our heroes are in ghost form, we lose the game. So we need to be able to survive this round to have him resurrect in case Samira dies to even have a fighting chance of continuing this adventure. So this is as close to death as you can possibly imagine. So I really hope you guys are enjoying it. It's obviously not an easy game, and I'm liking it for that. Because I don't like dungeon crawlers that are too simplistic. This one's actually right up my alley. It's very difficult if you get jammed up in here. And I've heard of people playing the game where they've had crazy spawns happen early in the game and just get completely wiped out. We haven't made it more than halfway, and we're already running into trouble. But it's been a lot of fun. There's a lot to keep track of. So if you noticed anything that I missed along the way, please feel free to drop your comments below. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on the game itself and strategy going forward even, because the next character to go is going to be Samira, so we're going to need to use her to the best of our ability to do some damage. Remember, we have the voodoo doll, so we're going to be using that 100% to put it on an enemy so that it does kind of reverse or reverse damage back at the enemy when they hit me. So we're hoping for the best with that one. But anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying the playthrough. Give me a thumbs up if you like what you see. I will check you guys and see you in the next episode. Until next time, keep on rolling solo.